Hi everyone, and welcome back to the George Collection. I'm Rachel Rightside Blonde. Today's episode is going to be short and sweet because I'm at the Reawaken Tour in Las Vegas. If you're there, or if you're planning on being there, make sure you stop by the George booth to tell Gene and I hello. Let's get into this week's episode. This is from the October 1996 issue, and this is the editor's letter. I don't think I've read this before, so we're going to read it today. The title is Of Bedfellows and Birthdays. If Americans seem cynical about politics, they seem even more skeptical about the institution of marriage when it comes to public figures. Despite the Clintons' 21-year union in an era where almost half of all marriages end in divorce, much of the populace continue to doubt the sincerity of their bond. For some reason, when both halves of a couple are high-powered, the public assumes their marriage is a calculated power merger rather than a love story. Despite Henry Kissinger's observation that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, it's true that political life can be a strain on a marriage. The husband, usually, gets all the attention, while the wife is expected not only to give up her career, but gaze adoringly during every photo opportunity. They have little privacy and even less time together. But in another respect, the crises and isolation of a public life create a sense of shared burden that can bring a couple closer. In fact, despite the odds, many political unions have been remarkable. After her husband had a stroke, Edith Wilson stepped in and ran the White House, and probably the country. Ronald and Nancy Reagan were a sensationally symbiotic pair. My mother always said that the cocoon of the White House was a heavenly respite from the constant separations on the campaign trail. In The Power of Two, George features some of the great romances in an age when marriage has become not only a personal, but also a professional partnership. By the way, George celebrates its first anniversary with this issue. Conventional wisdom holds that half of all new magazines fail in the first year and that people just aren't interested in politics. Well, our experience has certainly been unconventional because we're still here, and so are a good number of you. So thanks for coming to our party, regardless of yours. John Kennedy. At the current George, we are also getting very close to our one-year anniversary. And for those of you who have stuck around and keep watching my show and follow along with George Magazine today, we appreciate you more than you know, and we look forward to many wonderful things to come. That does it for this episode of the George Collection. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.
Magazine, George, which is a hoot of a magazine. I thought you were a lawyer.
I was.
What happened?
Well, we decided, actually taking a cue from folks like yourself and you around the 1992 election, that there was an opportunity here to change the definition of a political magazine. Certainly the way Americans were accessing information about politics and politicians was changing. Candidates were appearing on late-night talk shows, on talk radio, on sitcoms, and there was a kind of a leveling process, and while the rest of media clearly had caught up with that, we felt that political magazines per se hadn't.
Your mother was a hell of an editor at Doubleday.
That's what I hear.
Would she have liked George?
I think she would have.